try not to take for granted of everything that I've been given. I haven't earned it myself, right? Like there's people that have come before me that have paved the way.
Just had a great conversation with Alex Min, who comes from a long line of Buckeyes. He shared with me the impact that his grandfathers had on his life and how he wants to build a legacy and a future that can make them proud. I think you're going to really enjoy hearing from Alex Min. Today, my guest is Alex Min. Alex, welcome to Our People, Our Purpose.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Great to have you here. And tell us a little bit about what you do for C&G and where you work from, which location.
Got it. Yes, I am based in the Chicago location, so our headquarters. So I am a financial planning and analysis manager. So what that entails is I help forecast our financials and provide an outlook. I also do a lot of financial reporting to our board of directors and help with our CFO with lender presentations or rating agency calls and just preparing materials with that. And then I've been leaning in more towards helping our strategy team now with the advanced materials and sustainable solutions in our specialty films, just helping them understand some numbers better and just making and keeping the team accountable.
That's amazing. Yeah, and you do a wonderful job at it. So where did that spark of ambition come from? How did you decide this was a career you wanted, or was it? Was this career you wanted when you were little?
Yeah, so I think growing up, I've always just done well with numbers and analytics. So I've always been more interested in the math and sciences than probably like the medical field or science. So probably couldn't be like in a hospital. So I don't know how well I'd do with all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I think numbers and analytics and finances have always been more of my calling.
Yeah. So you're naturally good at it.
I hope so. Yeah, I would say so.
It's okay. We all have things we're naturally gifted at, things that are more challenging for us, and things like you definitely know you don't want to do that. So it
hmm
sounds like numbers are your thing.
hmm
Yeah. So where did you grow up?
So I actually grew up in Columbus, Ohio, in a suburb called Hilliard. So it's about 15, 20 minutes outside of Columbus and about an hour from our Lexington campus. So
Ah,
I was very happy when I learned that when I was interviewing that the company had such a large presence in Ohio. So
yeah.
my parents are still in Columbus, so it's great. Every time I have some meetings or a trip planned to Lexington, I always try to make it down to Columbus to spend some time with them. Get a nice home cooked dinner and all that good
Yeah.
stuff, and see my parents.
So did you have siblings?
Yeah, so I've one older brother. He's a few years older than me. He's in Seattle. He's married with a daughter. So my niece is about 2.5 now.
Oh,
So
fun.
they were just in town for Father's Day, so I just saw them, and she's
hmm
adorable.
Yeah. Wow. I bet your parents love that you can visit them, but I bet they really miss like having their grandchild closer to them too, being in Seattle and they're in Columbus.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a hike out there, but so my brother, he works in tech, so it makes sense
Okay.
for what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are some of the things that you liked to do when you were little and when you were living there in the suburbs of
Yeah,
Columbus?
so I've always been pretty active. Always played a lot of sports. So I mean, tried out all so baseball, basketball, football, you name it. So ran track and cross country in high school, and then now I try to stay active, playing co-ed beach volleyball with some of my friends, and getting out to the golf course when I can. It's a little tough in Chicago with
Mhm.
having to
Mhm.
drive a little bit outside the city to play, but I enjoy that with my friends. So no more contact sports though. I feel like that's kind of past my
You're still
time.
young. You Of course, you're smart though. You don't want to get any injuries that because it makes it harder to recover from them.
Yeah.
So is there a favorite sport? It sounds like you're into a lot of different ones.
Yeah. So I'd say I definitely love watching football. I mean, being from Columbus and going to Ohio State. So always been a big Buckeye fan. So both my parents went there. My brother did as well. So growing up, we always went to Ohio State football games, and I've been fortunate
Ah,
enough to go to two national championship games. So
wow.
back in 2014, 2015, Ohio State played in the Cotton Bowl against Oregon, and then this most recent year in the Peach Bowl against Notre Dame. So I've been very fortunate to see two Ohio State national championships in my lifetime.
Wow. Now, were you in school during that time or you just went with friends?
It was going into my freshman year. when we won. So I wasn't actually on campus yet, but I was going into school, and then I've been out of school for a little bit now. So just going with like my parents both
Hmm.
times and some friends too. So yeah,
Yeah, cool. So wow, so both your parents went to Ohio State.
yes, yeah.
So what did they major in?
My dad was biology, and then he got his he's an optometrist, so got his DO there from Ohio State, and then my mom worked in recruiting for the College of Nursing at Ohio State, so she did more communications.
Ah, very cool. And did your older brother go to Ohio
He
State?
did. He was engineering, so yeah.
Wow, the whole family. So do you have rooms in your home painted red?
We have lots of Ohio State memorabilia at home, lots of
I
jerseys and
bet.
footballs and signed basketballs and footballs and all that. Yeah.
Cool, cool. Well, I also know that you're the one here in the office that does the Sweet 16. Is that what you call
The
it?
March Madness
Okay, I
bracket,
knew I
yeah.
wasn't calling it the right thing. You can see I'm really into it. So you do the March Madness brackets, and so you like all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, so I run the March Madness bracket here, so that's always fun. I think it's good engagement and kind of just get some friendly competition in the office. So yeah, I think it's been fun. We usually get a pretty good participation from the team here.
Yeah, yeah, we do. Yeah, it's rivalry. Anything that's a rivalry seems like gets a lot of response. So tell me about what your life is like now at this point in your life. I've had the pleasure of meeting your girlfriend. Tell us about her.
Yeah, so I've been dating my girlfriend for a little over a year now. She works for a nonprofit, the Alzheimer's Association. So she came in, presented to us kind of about brain health and healthy habits and things and just kind of helping us understand more about the disease and what we're doing to kind of help eradicate it eventually.
Okay. And her name?
Mary Grace.
Mary Grace.
Yeah.
And where did you and Mary Grace meet? How did you meet?
So we met on a dating app called Hinge. um, yeah.
Okay. I think I heard that yesterday from someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's getting very popular now to meet people online. I feel like it's not as I still think people meet like, through school or through work or through friends of friends, but I feel like some of the younger generations are kind of meeting more online now.
So it is kind of an interesting concept because I've never been on one to be fair. Okay. But I would imagine that you can be pretty specific about like what you're into, like what your interests are, et cetera, right? And
Yeah, they've made it, I feel like it's like almost down to a science of how they done it. So it's quite scary of what you're able to how you can filter out different things, whether it be like age or
yeah.
height or anything like that. It's getting a little too scary how they're doing it.
Okay. So when you had your first, how long have you been together with Mary Grace?
About a year and a half now, yeah.
Okay. So when you had your first date, what was that like?
Our first date, we actually did trivia at a bar together.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's a bar on ironically, she lives in like the same neighborhood as me and just never crossed paths until, so we did trivia at a bar and it was actually quite fun. So, never been before, but you
Uh-huh.
get to kind of see how other people think or kind of, their knowledge of their topics. So, I think it was a good like way to do it rather than just, grabbing coffee or, go
Yeah.
grabbing drinks.
Yeah.
I thought it was a more unique way to kind of get to know
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. Alex is giving tips out there for all you guys looking to find someone. All right. I love it. So tell me about like what do you like to do? I know you said you're into beach volleyball and sports, but what else? You like to travel, you into music?
Definitely like to travel. So I've been fortunate to be able to do like a backpacking trip with my friends through Europe after college. Been to Southeast Asia. Um, so haven't been to like Australia or New Zealand or like Africa or South America, but hopefully one day kind of try to see all the world. So I think there's so many unique cultures around the world, and you can just learn so much and understand people's way of life, or just get a different perspective and seeing how the world works.
So tell me about backpacking through Europe. Where did you start? Where did you end up? And did you sleep outside?
Well, backpacking is a little bit. We stayed in hostels, but we
Okay.
basically just had a backpack, and that's all we had to travel with. So
Wow.
we wore the same clothes a lot, did some laundry here and there, but I think
Okay.
after that trip, we kind of didn't wear those clothes very often. Try to change up the wardrobe because
Yeah.
we kind of got tired of wearing the same stuff. But
Mhm.
We started in London and then kind of just made our way through, the Netherlands and Germany to the Czech Republic down to Greece and some of the islands there, and then went to Rome. So kind of hit a lot of different cities and different kind of vibes and all that kind of stuff.
So did you travel like by trains and planes and just a mix?
Kind of all forms of travel, yeah, mostly trains. They have, I mean, very good infrastructure there, I think, for passenger rail versus kind of here in the US, not
Yeah.
not the best. And then their planes over there too. Since it's so kind of everything's compact and close, it's pretty easy to travel and, I think they have Ryanair and EasyJet are two of their like
Oh,
budget
sure.
airlines.
Yeah,
So you can you
very
can
budget.
you can
Yes.
get some cheap flights and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And so how long were you there? Like how many weeks or months?
We did about 4 weeks over there. So by the end of it, I was like, I kind of want to get home though. So sleeping
Yeah.
in a different,
Yeah.
hostel every night was kind of getting and
Yeah.
eating out and all stuff too. So it's like I kind of wanted a home cooked meal at some point.
Yeah. Well, that was such a great experience though. I mean, as you get older in life, it's like it would be hard to go do something like that, right?
Yeah. So we tried to take advantage of it when we could. So we knew, we all had jobs, lined up
Mhm.
post graduation. So we knew this is kind of the only time we would be able to really do this. So
Yeah.
just try to take advantage of it as best we could.
So what about Southeast Asia? Where did you go there?
Went to Malaysia and Singapore and Japan.
Was this also with the same group of guys?
No, this is just with my family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. So different experience.
Different experience,
Nicer
yeah.
hotels, had a bed every
Yeah.
night. Yeah, that's good. It's always fun to go on trips with the family too. So let's pivot a little bit. So I want to talk about, maybe uh like someone that was inspiring to you when you were growing up, someone who really had a big influence on you, helped really shape you into who you are today.
Yeah, so I'd say a huge influence on my life, would definitely be my grandfathers. Unfortunately, they're no longer with us, but I know they're looking down on me. So, my grandfather on my mom's side, he, grew up, had a high school education. And then he went to go work for General Motors for 30 plus years. So he was a frontline worker. He knew he always wanted a better life for his children than what he had. So
Mhm.
he worked hard to be able to give my mom and her siblings the opportunity to go to college and for further or for pursuing their education.
That's amazing.
Um,
I
so
love that.
then, my parents, of course, have worked very hard to get to where they're at and provided the life that me and my brother had growing up. So we had a very great childhood, very stable life. So I think the goal for most parents, I would say, is you want to provide a life that's better for your children that you were able to live, and kind of continue that legacy. So I've been very fortunate for where I'm at. So I've been trying to take advantage of it. I've been dealt a very good hand, so that's something I try not to, take for granted of everything that I've been given. I haven't earned it myself, right? Like there's people that have come before me that have paved the way and sacrificed a lot for me to be here.
I love that. I mean, that is a very enlightened uh way to live, and I think a more fulfilling way to live, right? To be grateful, right?
Mhm.
When you live your life with that feeling of I'm grateful for what I have and I understand, people had to make sacrifices for me to get here. I think it makes you a more centered person. I can see that in you actually. You're a very centered person, and meeting your girlfriend too, Mary Grace, definitely comes through, right? I mean,
Yeah.
she definitely gives that vibe as well with all the great work she's doing with the Alzheimer's group as well.
Mhm.
So, if there was anyone living or past that you had the opportunity to sit down with today and have a conversation, was who would come to mind?
Oh, that's a good question. I like to go, I mean, talk to my grandfathers. Like, I think I'd love to sit down with them and just kind of see, how well been doing, kind of going back to what we're talking about of, they haven't had the opportunity to see me, start my career and do everything I've been able to do. So I think just sitting down with them and just being able to talk with them and learn more about their childhood or just understand kind of more where they came from and all their sacrifices that they made. I've
Hmm.
heard some of them, like my grandfather, my father's side, he came over from Korea with, two trunks of luggage and $50 in his pocket, and he was able to put himself through college and
Wow.
eventually get his PhD. So just thinking through what he had to go through and the sacrifices he made to get to where I'm at today is it's hard to imagine what he had to go through.
So how old were you when your grandfathers passed?
Um, I was they one of them passed when I was in high school, and the other passed a little bit after I graduated from college.
Mm. Well, so they got to see the young man that you were, and
Hmm.
they would certainly be proud to see who you are today, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
Confident in that. So, is there any kind of music that you particularly like, or any concerts that you've been to that were fun?
Um, you're probably gonna be surprised, but I actually like country music.
No, no,
So
well, I'm never surprised by anything, trust me. But country music, okay.
yeah, so I listen probably to mostly country music.
Uh-huh.
I like to just on the nice summer day, have the windows down, driving around. So
Uh-huh.
playing some country music and or sitting by the beach or by the lake and
Mhm.
or running too. So I like to run too usually after work, try to, decompress, just take some time to myself. So just usually just throw some country music in and just and sit
Yeah,
back and
so
relax.
do you have a favorite country artist?
Kind of just all, different artists, I would say, or groups. So no one in particular, just kind of a fan of the genre.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about country music, it's like they're stories, right? In every song, it seems like they're full of like a lot of life, comes through in country songs.
Hmm.
Everything from, really being happy to really being sad, right? So it depends on what kind of country music you're listening to,
Hmm.
but it can be pretty upbeat as well. I love listening to music when I'm running. What about podcasts?
Our people are purpose, of course.
Yeah. That's the thing with I think too with different generations of people. Like I'm really into like long podcasts. Like I
Hmm.
listen to some podcasts that are like an hour long and people are like, "What? Don't you get bored with it?" No, I
Yeah.
don't. But I think some people just like the shorter snippets of things and like the what is it, the Snapchat or
Hmm.
the yeah.
Or I think it's like TikTok or
TikTok,
something.
that's what
Yeah.
it's not Snapchat, come on, Kathy. TikTok, right? Get
Reverse
the tick.
mentoring right here.
I
Yeah.
know, here we are. Yeah, so I think we were talking about that before we had the mics on, but one day I went to Alex and I said, "Have you ever heard of this term reverse mentoring?" He looks at me like, "No." I'm like, "Well, it's like where someone like you mentors me." In how to use technology, how to use it to learn, or how do you use it? How do you use ChatGPT? How do you use some of the AI? Like how when you want to look something up, where do you go? Because I think it's a great concept, right?
Hmm.
Of because we can all learn stuff from each other, and so anyway, we still need to do that.
Yeah. So one podcast I actually do listen to is Freakonomics.
Oh, sure. Yep, I've
Yeah.
listened to that.
So I'm always interested in kind of like the theory behind things, or just how economics influences a lot of our life, or just kind of looking at different topics. It's very interesting to see kind of some of the smallest things and how they influence or are able to. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but how it's able to influence our lives and kind of all this research that goes behind it and stuff that you just don't even think about.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, at this point, Alex, I like to, turn the mic over to you and let you take control. Is there anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, one question I have is, what do you think has been your biggest challenge in your career that you've had to overcome?
Oof, that's a good one. Well, I would say that the early years of my career, so I would say in my 20s and 30s, imagine um, my path because I was a woman doing a job, a role that women had not done before me. So I was, my early days, I worked in manufacturing in the plant. I was a quality engineer, materials planner. I was a plant supervisor, plant manager, and then eventually became a general manager. In every job I ever had, I was the only woman to do it, first woman to do it, and the only woman to do it in the company. And this was in the '80s, and it wasn't exactly like the welcome mat was rolled out. There was a lot of skepticism around, can a woman do that? Should a woman do that? Why aren't you home with your kids? You're taking a man's job. Different things like that happened to me. A lot of subtle and sometimes not so subtle discrimination. And the challenge was, how do you not only deal with all that, but how do you rise above that? But there were many days, I would go home from work and I would be, very sad, and frankly, that how challenging it was, being left out of things. So that period in my life really tested my resolve to want to be in manufacturing as a woman and be a leader, but it also, reinforced to me that that was the path I was meant to choose, to be a trailblazer. And I look back on it now and I value all the things that I learned during that time because it made me who I am today. But it definitely wasn't easy.
Yeah, definitely a trailblazer, and I'm sure every lots of women are looking up to you, seeing like, wow, like Kathy can do it, like I can too. So I'm sure you've inspired lots of women along the way.
Well, thank you for that. That is my goal. That I always, I have 2 daughters and that was always in my head is I want them to grow up in a world where they believe they know they can do anything they set their mind to, that their being girls or women is not gonna limit their ability to climb.
Mhm.
So, all right, well, with that, we'll have this come to an end. Thank you so much, Alex. I loved hearing your story and getting to know you better, even though, we're here in the Chicago office, I learned new things about you today. So keep living your life inspired as I know you are. Thank you.
Thank you.